It's Thursday and time to meet with McGraw Milhaven from the Big 550 KTRS. He's already meeting with three women right here in our little studio. Having a good time, aren't you?
As always.
Yes. Well, today we're talking about Peter Kinder. Still a curious case, and I think the Riverfront Times put it that way, his curious relationship with a stripper. And that was 17 years ago when he's a single man. And we keep wondering, I know that we did last time, and I don't know if you changed your mind, but what has he done?
What has he done? Remember, he's being criticized now within his own party, and the question is whether or not his party is going to support him in his run for governor. And remember, if it's unacceptable for him to go to a strip club, the owner of that same strip club was voted and elected onto the school board of the Melville School Board for 2 different terms. So if it's okay for the owner of a strip club to sit on the school board, it's unacceptable for somebody who went there years ago to become governor?
So is it under the umbrella of morality?
What's the standard? We're going to set the bar so high that nobody will ever be allowed to be elected to anything. I have sinned. Everybody has done things they shouldn't have done, and I don't understand. The man is just being he's being piled on because he took a picture with a woman he knew 17 years ago. Let's
go back to your sins. No, just kidding.
It's only a 5-minute segment.
Yeah. And then he says, he's going to take this on the road and find out what his constituents think, and he's going to get the pulse of what voters are saying. And he said, if I won't run if I can't win.
Right.
And as the Riverfront Times, because it's a very long letter that he wrote that was published in there, they call it a desperate. Do you feel like this is a desperate?
In some ways, I think I do. I think I like Peter Kinder. I've known him for years. We all have met him or covered him in one way or another. I think he's handled this about as poorly as possible.
Well, see, that's what I wonder. Don't you? Yeah. I mean, why not come out and say, well, I have nothing to apologize for?
Well, he first didn't say anything for a week and a half.
Right.
And it leaked out when he said, we've all done things in the past we're not proud of. Asked and answered. But when he starts getting into, I stopped off to go to the bathroom, and then I ordered a glass of wine. You don't order a glass of wine.
And I had a picture taken with this woman.
At Verlin's. It's just, look. You happen to be waiting for the next appointment. You walked into a neighborhood joint and you ran into this girl, asked and answered. But when he gets into the whole, forget it. Not to mention he took a week and a half to answer the question. Then he comes out and writes this manifesto. It just seems to me it would have been easier when Claire McCaskill had her tax issue with her plane. She holds a news conference and says,
yeah, you have to attack it.
Here's the problem. I'm fixing it. I'm sorry. Right? That was a 2-day story. This Kinder thing just keeps lagging, and now he writes this manifesto, and he's going to go on a listening tour, and just seems.
But he says the media is spinning it, but it sounds like he's also playing a role in that spinning.
I don't know how we can avoid stripper
Reporting
conversation. I mean, right? That's everybody loves that. Everybody loves to talk about that. It's salacious. That's why the Anthony Weiner story was such a big deal, because it's the Anthony Weiner story, and he's running around without a shirt on.
Well, let me ask you a question. If he doesn't run, who will run?
I think you have to look at Catherine Hanaway, who is now in private practice, who is working for John Ashcroft's law firm. I think she's probably number one. I think you have to look at Tom Schweik, auditor, who I asked him today on the show if he was thinking about running. He says, I haven't even thought about it, but what do you want him to say?
He didn't say no.
And how about this? Senator Jack Danforth.
What?
How about him running for governor? Right? There's
Never
a man.
thought of that.
Well, there's a man.
Haven't heard.
No, I'm just sort of throwing his name out there. But, there's a guy who is well respected on both sides of the aisle. He can beat Jay Nixon. Jay Nixon's going to be tough to beat to begin with. But I mean, those are 3 names that I think are not necessarily out there, but would be good choices.
Right, we have a few minutes left. Not even minutes, but just a few seconds left. Cardinal baseball. So last night, when I'm watching that game, it was a reminder of why I love baseball and why my dad loved baseball. To watch the pitcher to have a grand salama, as my dad used to say, because I want to use 2 syllables in the word slam. Was fantastic, and the Cardinals are hot now.
Oh, they're hot. My Cardinals are hot now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
they were your Cardinals last week. Now they're my Cardinals. How about this for a stat? This is the 3rd year in a row that a Cardinal pitcher has hit a grand salama.
Really?
Yeah. Last year it was Brad Penny. And the year before that, it was Chris Carpenter.
Look at how he's
and
really
we think, we're
won.
researching it, but we think that's a record. There's no other team that has had 3 pitchers hit 3 Grand Slams in 3 years.
Back in my day, it was Bob Gibson.
Bob Gibson, right.
So
but
today, should they be pitching Carpenter, do you think?
I don't know.
That's bad. I don't know about that call. Tony will be a genius, or there people will criticize him.
You know,
yeah.
you have to assume he knows more than we do, and giving
Starting
Carpenter
Brandon Dixon?
another day's rest makes sense. He clearly knows more than we do. You have to assume he's making
Well, go
the right
Cards,
call.
8.5 games behind. Who knows, right?
Hey,
Keep
man,
winning,
stranger
winning,
things
winning.
have happened.
All right, thanks, McGraw. You can listen to McGraw weekday mornings on KTRS.
I'm going to
Big
Verlin's.
550. Goodbye. Just don't take any pictures.